Hello, my name is Bradley and I'm your host of The Internal Game. Okay, so before I get into today's video, I want to remind you that we have a Skool community that you can join. The link is in the description box of this video. We have 3 group coaching sessions every week, which is 12 a month. We have a wonderful, thriving, growing community happening as we speak. So yeah, definitely check it out, and it should help you stay grounded and situated on your journey of the life experience here, okay? So, today's video, SP. All right, so what I want to talk about is patterns, all right? I also want to remind you that, like, you have probably had SP in your physical experience before, okay? In your physical experience before. And their physical experience, first of all, if we walked them out, right? If we walked them out of our physical experience with them, then we didn't feel safe. We didn't feel confident. We didn't feel secure in our relationship with them. And we projected a lot of insecurities onto them. And we thought that they thought about us what we thought about us. And we just blamed them or gave them the projection. And because everyone is yourself pushed out, it got played out, and then they just walked out the door. Okay, so the physical experience, like when they were actually in your physical experience, still was not enough. They are not what makes you happy, right? They are not what makes you safe. They are not what makes you confident. They are not what makes you secure in the relationship. You have to do this. Okay, so it wasn't them. It was not them. It was you, and the insecurity and the fear and the doubt and the worry, and it got pushed out, and then they left. Okay, then what happens is we stay in these types of thought patterns after they have walked out. So then we're like, how come they're not coming back? Because we're staying in these thought patterns. Okay, because them coming physically like wasn't enough, so they didn't just stay, because you were still entertaining thought patterns. You still were entertaining the insecurity, the fear, the doubt, right? So then when they leave, you keep entertaining the fear, the worry, the doubt, and then they stay physically away, like away physically, I guess. Okay, but I want to let you guys know something, that this is not the person. Okay, it's not the person that you're addicted to. You are addicted to reaffirming yourself. Right? You are addicted to reaffirming your identity. You are addicted to specific patterns, not a specific person. You are addicted to specific patterns. Right? If it was the person, again, if it was the person, then when they were in your physical experience, all should be well. But we were stuck, caught, and addicted. Right? Addiction, when you look at the like simply put, the not able to stop when you want. Can you stop these thought patterns when you want? Can you stop obsessing whenever you want, whenever you choose to? Can you stop spiraling just whenever you want, whenever you choose to? If you can't, then you are addicted, right? Your body, you have been stuck in loop. Okay? So you are addicted to the thought pattern, not the person. You are addicted to reaffirming yourself, because when the person was there, reaffirming how you see yourself, because when the person was there, it wasn't enough. I want to keep reminding you of this. It wasn't enough. Like when they told you, hey, I love you, you're like, oh, sweet, they love me, I love you too. And then a little while later, but tell me again. Like, prove it more. Like, so I really feel validated, right? Or like, no matter what they did, you were creating meaning unfavorably, but like you didn't even have to try to do it. You were just doing it naturally because that's how you saw self. Like you were expecting the letdown. You were literally looking for how you see yourself. Like you were looking for proof of how you see yourself. So if you see yourself as not enough, if you see yourself as not worthy, if you see yourself as not chosen, then it doesn't matter what they do, you are not going to perceive it that way. And yeah, you're just going to perceive it to basically for how you see yourself. We see with our identity kind of thing, right? So it's not them. It's not them. It's a specific pattern that I'm sure you've probably found yourself in even before this person, and even before that person, and even before that person, right? And I ask people this sometimes, like if you think about your previous ex or the previous ex, if you saw them like kissing somebody downtown somewhere or whatever, like would it bother you? Probably not. You'd be like, oh, glad they found someone. Whew, right? Good for them. I have a new person that I'm addicted to the thought patterns about, right? And so it wasn't ever them, because at one time you thought that person was the end all be all. It's never the person, it's the pattern that you find yourself in and the loop that we get stuck in, because it reaffirms the identity. And I don't know how many times I've said this, but the identity doesn't want to die off. It's not, the identity's not changeable. Okay, you're not changing an identity. Like what you're doing, what happened is you identify with a version of yourself, like with some thoughts about yourself. You identify with thought and believe that to be true about self. You can't change that version. What you want to do is get out of it entirely and select a new experience. But trying to change the identity in the identity is impossible. So like if you're still stuck in thought patterns trying to affirm that I am this now, I am chosen, I am this, I am that, like how's that working? How's it going for you on that? And I'm not trying to be any type of like stickler about it. I'm being serious. How is it going? Because if it feels like work, it shouldn't. You did not work. I'm actually making well, it's pretty much done. I'm about to upload it to the Skool Community, an SP experience course, kind of like a video series. That's what I call it. And like one of the first videos, it talks about like, you did not try to lose your person. You didn't. You had natural thoughts coming from this identity. Natural thoughts that they were they're not responding because like they maybe they don't like me anymore, or they used to call me all the time, now they're not. Maybe they've met someone at work. Like these are natural thoughts coming from a person that doesn't think that they're committed to and chosen and worthy and all this good stuff, right? Those are natural thoughts. So that's why it feels like work when you're telling yourself, nope, I'm chosen, and I'm getting exhausted telling myself I'm chosen, I'm a priority. No, what you want to do is start observing the thought pattern. When you can observe the thought pattern that you're addicted to, this pattern, it's a thought pattern you're addicted to. Nothing else. Okay? And when you can observe this, you can start to disidentify. When you start to disidentify from this version, right, of yourself, you are going to get different natural thoughts, right? If you're no longer believing that you're not enough, you're not going to perceive everything as you not being enough. If you're no longer believing that you are not chosen and committed to, then you're no longer going to get thoughts that are equal to that. You're not going to perceive something as that. You're not going to perceive something as not committing to you. Or what does this mean? Does this mean that they don't like me anymore? You're not going to do that. Naturally. You're naturally not going to do that because you're not stuck in thought pattern. But as long as we are addicted to this thought pattern, again, I want to remind you about addiction, the inability to stop when you want to. Can you stop? Can you stop? Like when you get spiraling, can you be like, oh, never mind, I'm not doing that anymore, and just stop? How often do you find yourself reverting back to the old story that we're continuing to tell? The old story. No, it's not old. It's current if you're still telling it. Okay? But how often are you doing that? It's because you're in the thought pattern. You're still in the identity. And it doesn't want to die off. So when you try doing something different, you get pulled back. It's just because it doesn't want to die off. It's very habitual. It's very normal for you to think these kind of things because you have been, and it's very familiar to be like, oh, this is important for me to think about. I have to think about this. But what are they doing? I got to check what they're doing. I got to check their Snap. I got to check their Facebook, and then start creating the meaning from this little fearful place. Like, oh, they weren't on for 3 hours, so they must be with somebody. Like this is all this is doing is reaffirming how you see yourself, keeping you stuck in the actual version that you're trying to get out of. But the actual version of yourself that believes these things doesn't actually want to be chosen. It doesn't actually want to be committed to, because then it wouldn't exist. That's why every time somebody did tell you that they chose you, or that they loved you and they wanted to commit to you, you didn't buy it all the way and you sabotaged it internally, and then it got pushed out. Because that particular identity, that version that you've identified with, doesn't really want that. You have to come in knowing this and be bigger than the identity, be bigger than the thought pattern, and say, no, 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 I'm not going to buy these thought patterns anymore. I think I'm addicted to a pattern. I've done this before. Holy shit, I have done this before. Oddly enough, every person that I've dated just has been the one, or most of them have been. That's the one. It's not them, it's the pattern. Change SP to specific pattern. Because it doesn't matter, even when you think about it, if you don't believe you're worthy enough, chosen, loved, all that stuff, when you meet somebody, it's great because the attachment hasn't set in. It's all fun, it's all love, it's all confident. You're confident, they're confident. Ooh, this is amazing. Then when that attachment sets in, when you think that they are the end all be all, and you start to fear to lose them in some sort of way because you've attached now, because you think that they are your happiness and you can't live without them, that's when the real thought pattern that you have identified with comes out to play and starts to perceive things. When that happened, that's when things started to get a little tricky, because you were perceiving everything as a threat, perceiving as not being enough, looking for evidence of your concept of self, looking for evidence of the thought patterns that you have identified with. And then you got the evidence. So we want to stop doing this. Like, we actually have, first of all, we actually have to want to stop. I want to remind you again, the actual version doesn't want to stop, because then it can't exist. It's just a version. It's just a, yeah, and it doesn't want to be chosen because it's not chosen. It's already said, I'm not chosen. But there is a version of you that is. But you have to get out of that one first. And you do that by being aware of it, observing it, and not buying into it anymore. Because once you get out of those thought patterns about these people, because like, they get expressed no matter what the face is. Like, you can go right into a whole nother relationship, and in due time, it'll be the same kind of experience, because you are still stuck in thought pattern. It wouldn't matter what they look like. It wouldn't matter where they came from. It wouldn't matter if this is the new person now. No, the identity still remains the same. So it'll push out the exact same experience with a new face. So you have to become aware of the thought pattern, or you're just going to keep doing it over and over and over again, and saying that you don't want pain, but actually do, because that's how this version sees itself. You have to be bigger than this pattern. You have to be bigger than this addiction, and actually observe it and decide to not identify with it. Don't believe the thoughts coming from it. Game changer. Okay? You do not want to be scared of these thoughts. And be aware that this is what's happening. That I'm addicted to some thought patterns. I'm addicted to this pain that comes with it, because it keeps reaffirming how I see myself. So I must be addicted to reaffirming how I see myself, so this identity can survive. That's all that's happening. There's nothing out there that's not you. Nothing. It's your thoughts about the person that make them cool. It's your thoughts about the person that make them not cool. It's your thoughts about saying that they are the end-all be-all and you're not okay without them. And then guess what? You're not okay without them. It's the thoughts that they are doing something and this is hurting me. That's hurting you. It's the belief in these thought patterns that are causing you all this ruckus. It's not them. It's your thoughts about it. It's your belief in the thoughts about it. It's your identification with thought pattern. It is your addiction to reaffirming how you see yourself. But it is not permanent if you don't want it to be. You can change. You can do anything you want. But you have to start being aware of what's happening and letting it go in the moment. You actually have to start being sick and tired of being sick and tired. And saying, you know what? gone on too long. I don't want to do this anymore. And start to observe the pattern. Let it go. Say, nope, not for me. This is going to pull you out of those chains, keeping you in that version that you've identified with of self. Then you're going to get naturally different thoughts. You'll be in a different state. You won't be perceiving things the same way. But until then, you're going to be perceiving from that identity. And then we stay there, and we stay there, and we stay there, and we stay in the stories that made them leave in the first place. And then we wonder where are they? Because we keep going back to the story. And actually, I don't even like saying going back to the story. It's like almost like we never left it. Just because we affirm a couple times and tell a new story, most of the time you're actually entertaining the story that had them leave, because you're still in the identity trying to affirm against the identity instead of actually looking at the identity and saying, whoa, I see what's going on here. No more. Like being aware of it, not getting pulled, not being scared of the thoughts coming from the identity. Your reactions let you know what you're identified with. If you're scared of the thoughts coming from the identity, you're still an identity. You want to be like, okay, like these are just thoughts. Observe them, let them go. Because it's a trick trying to tell a new story from the old identity, because the identity doesn't want a new story. I know it sounds insane because it actually is, but that's all that's happening. You're addicted to reaffirming self, and you're going to perceive everything in accordance with how you see self. So you have to get out. If you actually want change, if you actually want to be chosen and loved and committed to and all these great things, then you actually have to get out of that, because until then it's not going to get it, because it doesn't want it really. It just seems like it does. So you have to be bigger than the pattern. And I can tell you something, you are bigger than the pattern. You are actual awareness. You are consciousness. You are the unmanifested, manifested into a human body. Pretty cool, right? Pretty sweet, bruv. Pretty sweet, bruv, right? And if you bring awareness, what it is you actually are, to the thought patterns, then when you bring light like that, when you bring consciousness to the unconscious, because that's what it is, unconscious patterns. When you bring consciousness, like unconscious, to the unconscious, it will turn into the light. It will dissolve, because the only reason that it's like this is because it's highly unconscious. Like my man's Eckhart Tolle said, no one is consciously insane. Identifying with thought patterns, beating ourselves up, telling ourselves that we love somebody that's not choosing us, and knowing that we created it but can't stop, and stuck in the thought pattern, in the thought loop, thinking it's this person, and putting our life on hold and being addicted to the pain is quite insane. But no one is consciously insane. So this is unconscious patterns. This is unconscious behavior. These are unconscious beliefs. So when you bring the light of consciousness to them and be aware of them and say, oh, because once you're aware of them, you are no longer being them. You are no longer it. Now you have started to disidentify. This is the game. Okay? Then from there, ideally, you don't try to find another identity. You just start picking experience, right? But nonetheless, that's pretty much it. Don't forget to join the Skool Community. We're rocking out over there. It's good to be back. It is good to be back on video. The sound, I know, is sounding amazing. The picture looks good. I got a new iPad for the video purposes. I'm excited to be back. I love you guys. Please, 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 for yourself, be bigger than the addiction to reaffirming the little self. Okay? See you guys later.